What are we? What makes us what we are? And what we're going to be? I think it's that right there. It's grit. It's grit.
And we're back. What a night, boys. Lions pull off a victory. And girls, we got a special guest with us today. None other than, wait, get the drop ready.
Get that
ready. None other than Jennifer Hammond. No drop.
Where's the drop?
I don't know.
Oh,
you know,
there's some.
Our offensive coordinator is dropping the ball on us already. There we go.
As long as you keep winning, who cares what your offensive coordinator does, right? I feel like he could go through a Wendy's drive-thru right now without pants on, and everybody would be like, "Yeah,
let's go!" Hammond with us today, boys and girls. This is the All Grit Podcast. I am your humble host, Caleb, joined by my offensive coordinator, Adrian, on the board, Clay, the statistician, who was also at the game last night with Jennifer. We're just going to talk a little bit about this amazing game, but at the same time, we want to, interview our special guest here with us today. So, Jennifer Hammond, quick story. I met you at Harry and Izzy's a couple Saturdays ago.
Yes, we were at Harry and Izzy's in Indianapolis. It was the night of the Lions takeover in Indianapolis, and It was incredible. Like, what a magical weekend. And it just feels like it was just one more magical night weekend on top of another that has turned this season into the most amazing thing we've ever witnessed in our lives. But yeah, there was so much energy in Indy the night that we met. And I was actually with some really cool folks. So it was really fun that you stopped by and said hi.
You were. Yeah, we were on our way upstairs. We saw you sitting with Danny and the whole. So you're working with Fox, but we're all in Grand Rapids. So, we don't know too much of your crew. So that's why I was just able to recognize you and Danny. There were some other people there. TJ stopped by later, and Dan Miller and Wojo.
Yep. Dan Miller and Woj. So what's really great about Fox 2 and the fact I've been here since 95, I started part-time and freelance. I was hired in 97 full-time. So Dan Miller was hired shortly after me in 99. And we have been working together for 27 years. And many of our producers, Matt Trump, who's in the office with me today, Greg Canner, Woody Woodruff, we've been together for an insane amount of time in this business, in this culture, in this climate, everything. It's pretty amazing. And it's a tribute to Detroit sports and sports fans and how they love their teams and watch us.
That's right. So we, as I mentioned to you, the evening that we met, we just started our little venture here this season. I said, guys, I've been a Lions fan since Barry Sanders years, and I'm over here in Grand Rapids. I need to talk Lions, and I ran into these two buddies of mine. They're like, let's go. So we started it up. We're what, 13, 14 episodes in, guys?
Yep. Yeah.
And we are getting better and better. I mean, I hate to do the humble brag, but we started on like Dropbox. It was horrible. We were talking to our computers with no mics. We're legit now. We're legit. We're getting
it. That is so awesome. And I'm sorry that I don't have a microphone to legitimize myself today, but I'm a bit of a derelict.
No, you're a legend.
That's right. And speaking of that legend, so yeah, inform our listeners over here in Grand Rapids how long you've been covering the Lions exactly. And I know that you're Fox 2, but you're also like in the locker room. So how does that work too?
Well, so Fox 2 is my exclusive full-time job right now, but I started back in Detroit in 1994 working at WDFN and came to DFN from Chicago via Western Michigan.
Chicago?
Yeah. So I know it's okay. You can do that. Flush the toilet. But I loved my 85 Bears. I loved my 85 Bears. So I was born in Chicago, and as it says on my Instagram page, born in the city of big shoulders, raised in the city with a chip on its shoulder.
That's right, baby.
Detroit. So my mom remarried and I moved here when I was 10. So I grew up a Detroit girl, but I still had my Chicago connections. My brother was there. My sister was still there. My grandmother. And then after I graduated from Western, I loved the city at that point in time. And Detroit wasn't quite vibing to the level it is now. And so I went back to Chicago and lived there and started to pursue my broadcast career. You're getting the whole story. Did you want that?
Absolutely. Yeah, we wanted our listeners to know.
You can ask one question and you'll get the whole story. But anyway, so I stayed in Chicago and I really wanted to do sports. And in 1988, they just weren't hiring a ton of women yet. We were just on the, on the edge of the women's movement in sports, which you see now all the time, which is so freaking cool. Because everybody has a story to tell. Everybody's got great stories to share and a different way of reporting, and it's really fun. But so I was in Chicago and got the job at WDFN Radio and came back here and thought, I'll just be there for a couple of years and then I'll go do something else more glamorous somewhere else, more glamorous. And from DFN, I got in at Fox 2 and the Red Wings started winning Stanley Cups and they hired me full time. And the rest, as they say, is history. So 27 years. Just celebrated. Yeah, just signed another contract at Fox 2. I'm 59 years old. I know, it's just cool. I'm so blessed. And I work with great people. Great people. We have a great organization. And a lot of the people who work here have been here so long that it is like a family. And we all love what we do.
Congratulations. Did you work with Matt Derry for a little bit?
I did work with Matt Derry. So I met Matt Derry at WDFN. He was a youngin' in the business, fresh out of Syracuse. And he was my neighbor in Birmingham in my apartment building complex. Yeah. He and his soon-to-be wife, Lisa. And it was so fun. And I met Matt through DFN and Dave Pash and John Bloom, a bunch of those Syracuse guys. And it was great. We had a great time. DFN was really a slice. What a treasure that place was. And some really amazing and talented people that came out of there, including Wojo and Stoney and
all those guys.
You guys were like the Saturday Night Live of Detroit, just like a bunch of talent came out of the one place. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. I will just say thank you to that because we had a blast doing it. And I think that's maybe the secret that people don't understand about this business is I always say, you know what, if I'm not myself and I'm not having fun, I'm not doing, I'm having a hard time centering myself. Can you tell? I'm in a swivel chair and I have
I just thought Detroit was going through an earthquake or something, but I don't know.
Right? I'm trying to get myself fixed here. Lean it up against
it's that basketball that you're on.
I know. No, I actually took the basketball out from under me because I thought for sure I would be reckless.
Hey, let's ask you about these lions, these new lions that we're looking at, right? Okay. Please. So our second question was, what is different about this year's team to you than all previous 27 years that you've been in this business, so to speak, over in Detroit?
Okay. Well, I know that people hear this word a lot and they think they know what it is without really fully seeing it from the beginning. And the word I love that explains this team to a T is culture. Because it starts, what's that say? Grit?
Yeah, I mean, you're on the All Grit podcast, but culture, same thing. Yeah.
Thank you. And my eyes are, even with my readers on, I can't see. But so just the culture of this team that is a gritty culture. And I've got to say that it started with Sheila wanting to make a change because without Sheila, we all say Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. Yeah. But without the switch to Sheila Ford Hamp, there is no Brad Holmes. There is no Chris Spielman. There is no Mike Disner. None of those people that came in here would be here because I think, for Martha, she's a tremendous lady. She loves the winning. She wanted to win. She just didn't know how. But Sheila had a little more of that modern woman and came in and said, if I don't know how, I'm going to ask. And I'm not going to be afraid to ask. And I'm not going to be able to, I'm not afraid to surround. I think some of the best leaders surround themselves with smarter people.
Absolutely.
And we've seen that from the top down, from Sheila down now to Brad Holmes. And look at Dan Campbell, look at the coordinators. There's no doubt in my mind. Ben Johnson, IQ wise, is far smarter than Dan Campbell. But he's not afraid and he's not intimidated, and he's willing to give up and surrender that power and that leadership and that credit. And that's when everybody's rowing the boat in the same, to borrow a phrase from my friend PJ Fleck, who actually sent me this oar that's on the wall behind.
No way.
Yeah, right. See that?
Wow.
Says keep rowing. Once a Bronco, always a Bronco.
That's right.
That's awesome.
But
shout out Kalamazoo.
Shout out Kalamazoo. Loved my time. I love Southwest Michigan. My daughter's in Grand Rapids right now. She's a senior at Grand Valley. And
oh, nice.
Yeah, she's just, and she's starting to really love sports too, but I digress. But when everybody's rowing the boat in the same direction,
right,
good things will happen. So that even when somebody stands up on the boat and it shakes a little bit, and if they fall in, everybody knows we stop, we get that man back in the boat, and we keep moving forward. That's right. It works.
Now you mentioned Dan. You mentioned Dan Campbell. Sorry to cut you off, Adrian. You mentioned Dan Campbell, and surrounding himself with other people. And humility is looked so down upon in today's sports. But when you really think about it, a humble person like that, like you said, will sit back and let Ben Johnson let Aaron Glenn take his deep. It allows the coach at that point to do what he's supposed to do on a Sunday. He goes up and down the sidelines, coaching his players, helping them, encouraging them, doing what he does, instead of focusing on offensive plays, right?
Yes.
We got Ben Johnson focusing on that. I'm old school. I like that. I like that the coach can do what he's supposed to do. You look at everyone today, the Rams coach, they're calling his plays. Look at Green Bay's coach, he's calling his plays. But there's something to that where, I trust my coordinators to handle that. I'm going to be the coach.
And the great thing about that is Dan Campbell, even when he makes a mistake, he's not afraid to say, yeah, maybe I wouldn't. He doesn't often. Yeah, he owns
like going forward on his own 30.
Yeah. I didn't love that one. You know what? I loved the one in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I loved the one late. I didn't like the one in the third quarter. And I said this on the postgame show last night, and Stoney disagreed with me and flip-flopped it. And I'm like, no, I don't know how you'd say that. The game was tied. If you were down, kick it for sure.
Yeah.
Probably. Listen to me. Probably. For sure. Probably. let me couch that opinion.
Maybe. Exactly.
But it's just, he has got such a temperament about him. And what you're seeing from Jared Goff, this unflappable, when something goes wrong, we don't get ruffled. It starts with Dan Campbell. And something really cool that Zeke Turner said to me in the locker room last night after this game, and Zeke Turner, mind you, just rolled up. I don't even know what.
Thank you.
Killed it yesterday.
Thank you. I was going to say, who is this guy that made the game-saving tackle on a quarterback?
I know he wears number 47, and I know he's a soft-spoken, God-fearing, lovely, lovely human.
What happened? Oh, your audio just dropped. We can't hear you. We'll keep. There you go.
Okay, good.
You're back.
There I am. I had a phone call coming, and I had to get rid of them.
Oh, yeah. Tell Mike Valenti we'll get to him later.
Oh, yeah, right? So now my train of thought was on, Zeke Turner. But he was saying, even when you're not here, when you're on the outside, you see this team, and everybody wants to be part of it. Everybody wants to experience it. And you come in here, and then when you're in it, you understand why they win and why they're doing as well as they are.
Yeah.
I can see that on like Zadarius Smith's face. He is like a kid in a candy store when after a game, before a game, Jamal Adams, as soon as the kick went through yesterday, they're panning the whole team. And you see Jamal Adams, who just signed Monday. He's starting. I don't know if he started or if he just came in, but the guy came
in after Branch got hurt.
Okay, but they're like, how did I get so blessed to be on a 12-1 team when I was sitting there, coming off the bench in Seattle or wherever they're Cleveland.
And it's incredible because do you guys hear something like Alka-Seltzer dropping in water right now?
No.
Am I crazy?
No,
something's coming through my phone. Hang on.
Wait a second. Let me check this out.
Oh, thank you.
There, I flushed it away. Okay, you're good to go.
That is so weird. No way, you flushed that toilet and it stopped.
There you go. It just takes a little
bad vibes leaving.
Like I said, we know what we're doing over here on the All Grit podcast.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to talk about the curse of Bobby Lane too at some point, and Jeff Daniels and Peyton Manning.
You just missed our last episode. Our last episode, Clay and Adrian pulled that up. Do you still have
that
it?
song?
We played it to end our episode.
Isn't his song incredible?
It's awesome. So good.
That dude is so real. Another one. I mean, just good people. And it's kind of a Michigan thing. I feel like it's a Midwestern Michigan thing.
Yeah.
But we were talking about what before the toilet flushed and there were Alka-Seltzers in my head. Jeez Louise. I was last night, you guys. You're getting me
just how great.
Did we finish on Zeke Turner?
Oh yeah, the Zeke Turner. So just the fact that he said, like, and to your point, all these guys that are coming in and are so humble, ready to work hard. And what also I said to Penny Sewell last night about is how incredible is it that you guys can just kind of plug anybody in, but you bring these guys in this week, and he says, no, I take exception. It's not anyone. It's specifically the guys that fit this culture. So you've got to be that guy. He's like, it's not just anybody, because not anybody can come here, but you got to work your tail off. You got to and come to work. And these guys were flying around by all accounts at practice. And Aaron Glenn said to Zeke, as Zeke Turner said, getting back to him, he said, Glenn said to them last week, don't think too much. I don't want you guys thinking. I want you playing.
Yeah.
Making plays, doing your job. Everybody 1 of 11. And they did. I mean, they gave up 31. Yeah. But my God, it was the most ragtag defensive crew I've ever seen. 18 guys on the injured list before yesterday. And I think my producer, Matt, said 15 of them were on defense. And the fact that they got the Packers into an uncomfortable place.
Yeah, they were uncomfortable.
They were uncomfortable.
I mean, Green Bay should be ashamed of themselves for allowing that to happen. You check the message boards today, and Green Bay is crying over the referees. I'm not sure if you've been watching that stuff, but they are just poo-pooing, and we're all sitting here going, are you serious? You're talking to the Detroit Lions about flags and laundry? Take that and shove it.
Yeah,
I was telling the guys, when people complain now about us and the refs, it feels like a badge of honor now that they're blaming the refs for losing a game to us.
Right? Isn't that fantastic? Never saw that coming.
All right, we got a personal question. We got a personal question for you here. Now you have a lot of access to these players, right? Mm-hmm. What is your favorite part of your job? Jennifer Hammond, Fox 2 Sports. If you could choose one?
Sharing somebody's story, telling stories. Okay. Absolutely. And I have a great story that I haven't told yet, but I'm dying to tell it. It's David Montgomery's story.
Oh, wait a second.
That man runs deep.
Before you do that, we need to set you up right here. Okay. Let's see, which one am I looking for? Okay, we have this. All right. Jennifer Hammond, Fox 2 Sports has some breaking news about David Montgomery. Take it away, Jennifer.
I will be doing an exclusive one-on-one with David Montgomery leading up to the Bears game in Chicago on December 20th. Ooh. But I don't know. We're going to tape it. We're taping it a week from Tuesday.
That's awesome.
So I think I'm going to go over to his house, meet his son. I asked him, I said, do you like to cook? And he goes, well, my brother usually cooks. He goes, but I like to cook. And I'm like, maybe you can cook something for us. Yeah. Because, I've often found, because I've done it a couple of times over the years, maybe 2 or 3 other times, been in a kitchen with a player. And when they get cooking, they get talking. And
they start talking.
Yeah, people get really honest because people are comfortable in their home. Yeah. They're comfortable in their kitchen. And it's really, I think it's a great way to get to know people. There's so many interesting stories.
Yeah.
And these guys are having a blast. And fate has brought them all together at this point in time on this team together. And
we lost you again. You must have another phone call coming through. Yep. She'll be right back with us.
Yep.
You're back.
Okay.
Okay, good.
This is the time of day when all my spam calls come in.
Understood.
Now it's just applause. Can you flush the toilet again, please? Seriously.
Let's go.
Now it's gone. Every time you flush the toilet, one of the extraneous background noises stops.
Good thoughts in, bad thoughts out. You've heard that, right?
I will say, good, Jen, exhale bad.
I am so excited that you're doing a story on Monty. That's my wife's favorite player.
Mine too.
She fell in love with him when he did an interview with, it was like a fantasy podcast, and he just opened up about his past struggles with mental health.
Mhm.
And just that 5 minutes alone, like, had us kind of tearing up for what he's been through. So I'm sure you're going to get a lot of good stuff for that story to share with everyone.
And who hasn't been through challenges like that? But you forget when it's a player, and he's a young guy. And here's something else too. If you'll all recall when it was the Jamal Williams show here, and we loved Jamal, and he was such a great dude. Loved covering him. What a slice. I'm happy I got to meet him.
Funny guy.
Pokemon.
Yeah, really funny guy.
Yeah.
Pokemon, yeah. All his toys he'd walk around training camp with. I'd be like, oh my God, these people never stop. These Pokemon people, because I know nothing. I couldn't tell you the name of one Pokemon character. So he just was a great dude. But when he left, I thought, wow, is David Montgomery an upgrade talent-wise?
Really?
Because the offensive line he was running behind in Chicago was nothing.
Yeah.
Anybody behind, I mean, I could run behind this offensive line, probably get a yard. Maybe not on 4th down against the Packers on Thursday Night Football.
4th and 1.
Burn. Love it. You didn't get the nickname the Hammer for no reason, right?
Thank you very much.
All right, so here's another question for you.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, keep going.
I was just going to put a bow on it and say, yes, I love Demo. Great guy, great character guy, great for that room. And here's something else that's interesting that makes this whole culture thing work. And I was talking to one of the other reporters about this the other day, is in many rooms in this league, you would not have 2 alphas or whatever, 56 alphas, whatever they have got on the roster. You wouldn't have that many alphas coexisting. And the way that he allows JMO to be JMO, they split carries, they cheer for each other, they work out together. JMO's now in the weight room with Demo trying to keep up with his 700 bench press or what's it called? Deadlift.
Yeah. I was going to say, if he's benching 700, watch out.
I know, yeah. I know what I say.
Jameer, yeah. They're I mean,
Sonic
the Sonic and Knuckles.
Oh, did I say JMO? Sometimes I call Jameer JMO.
Yeah, I do the same thing. They're one letter off. It's easy. So listen, since we're already talking about that, let me skip a question, go into this one. Who's been your favorite player to interview over the years, and what made them stand out to you? So we can't use Demo on this one, but think back. You've been, almost 20.
I got one.
You got one that just stands out right away?
Yeah, Dominic Raiola.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Freaking honesty, and nobody wanted to win.
Yeah.
More than that guy.
It'll make me emotional because those were some tough days.
Those were some tough days, and I know that he was maligned, but boy, was he was great. And then there were the guys like, Golden Tate, Nate Burleson, Herman Moore. I actually even had an interview with Robert Porcher again last night, who's one of my all-time favorites.
No way.
Yeah, he was on our pregame show. I wish I'll try to post that online because he's just tremendous. I mean, he's still the Lions' all-time sacks leader, and his name is not in their Ring of Honor.
Right?
And
How is it not?
I just feel like that's a travesty, and I want to start a petition to get.
Let's start it right now, today, right now.
Start it right now on the All Great Pod.
Can we start it? Can we
right now today?
However you guys do it, I'll throw it all over social media. Breaking news. Here we go. Now.
Jennifer Hammond has some breaking news. Starting a petition for Robert Porcher, number 91, from my recollection, to be in the Ring of Honor.
He is 91.
Starting today.
And honestly, 91 on his chest, number 1 in your hearts. And that funny story is the only press conference of a player retiring that I got emotional at. I cried.
Oh, wow.
Because he was a great dude. Great dude.
Okay.
And the fact that, I'm so lucky. I've just covered a lot of. I mean, I've covered Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford, and now this whole thing.
Yeah.
And this whole thing is such a team. We're blessed. We're just so blessed. And I did tweet out there today that I couldn't be happier that for the fan base and the fans of Detroit and the people in the city, like no city or fan base deserves all of this joy more. And I do think they have finally now, even after last night, I think each week we get another little glimpse of the other shoe's not going to drop, you guys. This is okay. It's okay to feel, it's like someone who searches all their life for love and they can't ever find love and they have all these emotional scars. Now I'm going deep into my Mel Robbins bag of tricks. But, they have all these emotional scars from loving and being hurt. Yeah. And they find the most perfect person. And guess what? They're not going to hurt you and they're not going to go away. And our Lions are here to stay. And It's a joy. Enjoy this. Don't sit around and critique. They could have lost. He blew it. That call was too risky.
Right.
Your Lions are 12-1.
What would you do? What would you tell yourself 5 years ago, like, and you're complaining about these little things, and 5 years ago you're like during that coach.
Wait, let me set the scene here. Matt Patricia is coaching our team 5 years ago. What would you tell yourself?
Right.
Even on his worst days, I did try very hard to get Matt Patricia to be kind and to like me and to open up. He just from the beginning, that thing was a train off the tracks. That
from
was
day
an upside down
one,
ship.
Because
remember because he was accused of being
that's true.
Sexual abuser. And that was a really
Isn't that interesting that he wins Super Bowls in New England, but the day he gets to Detroit, all of a sudden, we're gonna bring this back out now. We're gonna
Well, but you know how it was found by one of the investigative reporters at the news? He just every now and then goes through the FOIAs and starts FOIA, and he's like, I'll throw Matt Patricia in there, the Lions' new head coach. It was like the day before he was being introduced.
Right.
And it popped up. I mean, it truly was it was an accident. It was a really strange.
The whole thing was an accident.
It's just
right?
funny how sometimes karma, I mean, if it happens.
Did you see that he was on was it Good Morning or was it the other, like literally yesterday, and they asked him about the line. He looks great. Yeah, we'll give him a round of applause for that. But he literally starts taking credit for drafting Frank Ragnow.
I did hear that. Stoney told me.
I mean, he was just like the Lions are doing good. The Lions are doing good because of this guy, and we're all like,
bro.
Well, I will say that they did put a big emphasis on the offensive line, and they did get a good player in Frank Ragnow. But that's where the conversation ends.
Exactly.
Right.
That's where it ends.
Thanks for being a lineman, Patricia, and drafting Frank. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. And I'm so happy for guys like Frank Ragnow and Taylor Decker and
absolutely
those guys. Man, Taylor Decker, like,
especially
boy, does that
Taylor.
guy deserve it.
He looks good in maize and blue, doesn't he?
The way you talk about Raiola reminds me of Decker. Just he wants to win so bad, like
so bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what you need. And Dan Campbell's that guy. Like, Dan Campbell doesn't want to lose in line at the grocery store,
Yeah.
Have you ever been in line at, I don't even know your grocery shops, but you go and you're like, okay, which line? Well, there's two guys there and there's one guy here. I'm going behind the one guy. And then you see the guy that you could have been behind getting out before you. And you're like, mother, blah, 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 beep, beep, beep.
All right, Jen, here's another question for you.
Okay.
We are 12-1. What is your prediction? We're 12-1. We're 12-1.
Oh my God.
We are 12-1. What is your prediction for the rest of the year?
They're going to beat Buffalo.
Whoa!
They're going to
13-1.
Lose at Chicago.
Okay.
13-2.
They're going to beat San Francisco.
Yeah, dude, I think that too.
Revenge.
And then they're going to kick the snot out of Minnesota on the last day of the season. They're going to kick their teeth in. They're going to drag them off the field by their...
No, they're going to take them into the deep.
Oh, yeah, they're going to take them into the deep abyss.
Yes, they are.
So you're counting a 15-2 record. See, I'm going to only disagree with one of those out of all that. I think they could do the Bills. I think that last game of the year, they're going to be sitting starters. They're going to get 2 weeks rest, have the number 1 seed. I don't know. Philly's got to lose, so that we might have to play that game still. But
yes, to that part, that second part. And have you seen this team? You could sit every starter on the team and they'd still win.
Let's go.
I do agree with the Chicago pick. We do have a hard time. We always play with Chicago, it seems like.
Chicago's ready to get them back, man. They're ready to smack them. And they've done enough changing there and Caleb Williams, man, he's coming on. Goff with the glove. Will he throw with the glove? No glove. And if it's cold and dicey, that's going to be a problem. But boy, this team is, if they won every single last game, I wouldn't be surprised.
Man. Well, I'll be at that Chicago game. Hopefully,
you'll be in Chicago.
Yeah.
Good. Yes. Make sure that you reach out and we'll have a beverage.
Sweet.
Oh, sweet.
of the adult variety.
It'll be a cold one.
All right. So you got another last question for him, guys? I got a secret. Actually, before we ask our last question, where can our listeners find you, Jen?
So they can find me. You mean like on Twitter?
Yeah, like if you want more followers, for your
Hammer
for all of your stuff.
Hammer Fox 2, I think, is my Twitter, and Jen Hammond TV is my Instagram. And fox2detroit.com, you can watch all of our content. Like most of my stories post on our website, and then we retweet it on our Fox 2 Sports Twitter site, which is fox2sports.twitter. Wait, what is it? Matt, what's our Twitter account? It's just Fox 2 Sports. At Fox 2 Sports. That's right. At
Fox 2 Sports. All right.
I knew there was another word, an at or a dot that I was leaving out.
Sure.
Seriously, I'm so tired from last
night. Hey, it's Friday. It's Friday at 4:30, Well, Clay's wife. Is it? Clay's wife, Megan, is our manager for our podcast. So she's going to take some of that info that you put down. She'll put it on an Instagram post and she'll tag you and everything.
Thank you, Megan.
Yeah, she loves doing it. So anything for you guys.
I love that. Hey, you know what? A family that works together stays together.
That's right.
Is the truth.
Amen.
That is the truth.
And I just want to thank
Go ahead, Clay.
I want to thank Jen, man. Talking about these, especially these old school Lions players that made us Lions fans that we are today.
Right.
It just shows how far we've come, and it just like I said, I get emotional because it's just we're playing for these guys and the Lions of past. Like this is all for them too.
That is so well said, Clay. And because those guys are rooting. Like Robert Porcher said to me, I asked him about playing in December. I said, you guys always used to win in December. You guys would just go on a roll in December. And he said, yeah, but these guys have been doing it all along. So they are really special. And I had a great conversation last week with Jared DeVries. He was at the game and he played with Dan Campbell and remains very close friends with Dan and his wife and their families. And I said, how is this not crazy? How surprised are you? And he goes, I'm not at all. He said, when we were boys, on the team back in 2008, 9, we'd sit around and he would talk about what they should be doing to coach it up. That Dan Campbell was breaking it down, talking about it like with the offense, defense, because Jay DeVries played on the defensive line. He had a great career. He played, I think, 12 years in the NFL. I mean, great dude too. And he just said, nothing about this surprises me. Dan Campbell is the man, is the master. And just think about truly, and now I'm watching him. He's on TV right now talking to his post-game locker room, and then he turns to Skip and he goes, you keep puking over there, Skip.
I love that.
I love that. Was so funny.
And
I love how the camera just goes with him like, we're going to watch him puke for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just classic.
Get me a brick wall. I will run through it for that man because he is a master. In this day and age, and I've talked to a lot of coaches and guys primarily that coach college kids, it is so hard to get buy-in from everybody because it's such a me-centric society these days. Everybody's look at me. I want to be the highlight. I want to be the center. And they've got text threads where they're all planning with offense and defense how to celebrate touchdowns. There's an inside and outside the building chemistry and love. There's a brotherhood in that room, and you see it on the field.
Yep. Yeah. And everybody joked about it when Campbell first came in, and as guarded Lions fans, you're kind of like, okay, man, well, let's do it. And last night watching the game, I was like, that was the one butt cheek, 3 toes game last night, and they won it.
Wasn't it really? That was one butt cheek, 3 God, I wish. Where were you yesterday when I could have used that in my story last night?
Hey, you can still use it. Just shout out the All Grit podcast.
Okay, I'm gonna steal it, and I'll give you a little credit.
All right,
there you go.
A little.
All right, Jen. Well, we appreciate having you with us. We have one last question before we get up out of here. Okay,
please, anything.
And it's not so much a question; it's more of a request. Okay. So you've heard of the Ice Bucket Challenge. I haven't told Adrian about this yet. He surprises you. So you've heard about the Ice Bucket Challenge, right? They do that thing.
You've heard about ALS.
Did you? You heard about the plank challenge where you do all those planks wherever they're randomly around the world. Okay. So here at the All Grit Podcast, we are starting a little new thing starting today. It is the All Grit Challenge. # All Grit Challenge. So that means you are challenged now, Jen Hammond, in front of our audience, to now get either Danny Rogers, TJ Lang, Wojo, Or since you said Robert Porsche, we'll throw Robert Porsche in there too to get one of those 4 onto the pod.
Well, you tell me which one you want first. I mean, I would say Wojo is hilarious.
Wojo's the man.
Wojo's the man. But Rob Porsche would be a nice pull and would probably do some good things for your ratings. So
absolutely.
You tell me who you want. How about I'll get all 4 of them?
If you get all,
I'll get 3. It's weird. I put my hand this way and it goes. Never mind.
which 3?
My phone. The ass cheek, the one ass cheek and 3 toes.
No, which 3? You said you're going to get 3.
Oh, 3. Oh, sorry. God, what is wrong with me today? Let's see. Let's go Danny.
Okay.
Wojo Porsche.
All right, they're underlined.
And
let's
TJ
go.
Lang would be excellent, but he's a little flaky.
Okay. I listen to him on 97.1 The Ticket all the time. I love him and Valenti bantering, man. That's classic.
If you guys get in your cars, you can be at the lodge just in time tonight for me to pour you a drink when I'm behind the bar for raising money for the Tom Kowalski Foundation for Killers Cares. Between 8 and 9, I'll be behind the bar with Danny, and TJ will be there at 9. Wojo will be there at 9. It's going to be a great night. It's a great night. Next year, you guys come.
We could make it, Clay. Although Clay only lives an hour from you. Where are you at, Clay? You're in Grand Blanc?
Grand Blanc.
Grand Blanc.
He wanted to make that very fancy.
Grand Blanc. Sauvignon.
Eagle Harbor. Anybody
that's I tell everybody I'm from Flint because it just sounds tougher. Yeah, I live in Flint.
I know. My friend Buffy always used to say I'm from Flint because when you say Buffy, you lose a little street cred, but then she'd throw in the Flint and it gives Buffy's got a great golf game and she's a badass. She owns a business. She's a good chick.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, we're gonna stick you to it. Hold you to it. I mean,
if there's anything we can do for you, please let us know. But thank you so much for your time. We're looking forward to your story.
This has been a slice of life. This alone has been just a slice. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm so glad you invited me on. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you so much.
I thought I was going to have to do a headstand for the challenge or something. I was kind of nervous.
Oh yeah, it's called the Amon Ra Challenge. No. All right, this is the All Grit Podcast signing out. Thank you, Jen Hammond, for joining us today. You know who we are. Appreciate all the listens and one prize.
Go Lions.